Hey everybody, it's me, Roy the Movie Guy, and we are back after months of hiatus with another podcast. With me, as always, is
Joe B.
And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about brand new shows that are starting this week on television. I always wanted to do something like this where we're going over new shows and telling you guys whether is it worth watching or is it just something that's going to get canceled. So let's dive into the very, very first show we're going to talk about. It's called Manifest. This show premieres on Monday. I'm going to say the 24th. That is Monday.
That's
September
Monday.
24th. On 10 o'clock in the Eastern time, which would be 9 o'clock Central time, which is where we are Central. And this is on NBC. And this one is about, if you've seen the trailers, a plane arrives and everybody's all like, what's going on here? And they're like, you guys just touched down, but you've been missing for, 4.5 years, 5 years or something crazy like that.
Wouldn't it suck if like the Air Force like shot it down because they thought it was like a hijack plane or some crap?
I know. Now, I don't know if there's anybody, because I haven't really researched enough of this show. I just go by what I see. That's what this podcast is going to be, our first impressions of these kind of shows. So my first impression of this show, like me and Joe were talking about, is a little bit of Lost.
Yes.
Mixed in with, what was that other show on USA, the 4400?
Yeah.
Kind of like the 4400.
Kind of like a
Lost.
hybrid of them. It got a heavy Lost feeling to me.
Yeah. Now, can this show be good? Yes. But can this show last? No, not in my opinion.
No.
I think this show has a potential to be like Lost, where the first season can be fantastic, and if it gets renewed for a second season, they don't know where to go from there.
Shows like that they start with this big like shocker moment.
Yeah, this big
big
hook.
shock, this big
Right.
hook. Once the hook's exposed, and everybody loses interest because everybody wants to know like what's going on. Once they find out what's going on, they're like, okay.
I feel like a show like this would make more sense as a movie.
There you go.
If you would have made this movie like 2 hours, or even if it's a miniseries.
Yeah.
If this is a miniseries event, I will watch it. If it's like an 8 to 10 episode and that's it, we're just going to give you that's the hook, and then we're trying to find out what you would cover.
So maybe
something.
this would be a better like Hulu show or Netflix show or something because they have those shorter seasons.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's how I would do it for a show like this, because I feel like unless they really have a plan, and maybe they do have a plan, because that's what happened with Lost. They didn't have a plan after season 1, and they were just making stuff up as they were going along, basically.
Yeah.
And because I remember, Joe, you watched Lost the first season, and you lost interest halfway into season 2 when they killed Michelle Rodriguez off.
It's like, where are they going with this? But luckily, she can drive cars really fast, so she's always...
Yeah, she bounced back. Yeah. So that's it. That's all we really have for Manifest. Joe, just right off the bat, are you going to say it's going to get renewed for season 2, or do you think it's going to be done and gone?
I think if they can hook people with the premise, they'll get at least 2 seasons out of it. At least that.
At least 2. Okay. I tend to agree with Joe that they'll get at least a second season if the first one's good, but if it loses people halfway through, like this is boring, they're just stretching out something ridiculous, then it'll tank, and then it'll be gone by the end of the year. Or I'll say the end of the TV season, like it won't get picked up. Okay, let's move on to the next one we're going to talk about. And this is another revival show like Hawaii Five-0 and MacGyver, which is actually going into its 3rd season this year, is Magnum P.I.
Wow.
Starring Jay Hernandez as the title character, Thomas Magnum.
Okay.
And I'm wondering...
Okay.
Obviously... The thing they kept about it is he's wearing the Detroit Tiger hat, and the same thing with the shorts. He's driving the Ferrari. The only difference is Higgins is a woman instead of a man this time. And I think she's like British intelligence of some sort. So she almost even helps him investigate as a private detective. They still have the character of Robin Masters, the elusive Robin Masters, the author, that his novels are based on his adventures of Thomas Magnum from the original show. You never see him. You just know that he takes resident at his place because, they're good friends, I guess, or whatever. Even though Higgins doesn't want him around at all. It's the same type of thing. And then, of course, you have his 2 buddies, Rick, and what was it? Was it TC?
Yeah, TC.
TC and Rick. And they have the helicopter. And in the beginning, in the first look, they had a 3rd guy there. But then in the thing, he gets killed, and he's investigating, and it is.
Well, what's next? Rockford Files? They're going to bring back the Rockford Files?
You know what? They should bring back the Rockford Files. They should. Let's see what else. Okay, what do you think about Magnum P.I.? I'm going to tell you this much about it. I think it's going to be one of those shows that will have a little bit of legs, and it'll continue to it'll have more than one season, because MacGyver's in season 3. Obviously, a lot of people like them going back to redo these shows.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii Five-0 is lasting. I mean, MacGyver lasted, so why not this?
Yeah, why not? Well, that's basically Monday, and for new shows that we're going to be covering. Let's move on to Tuesday with Nathan Fillion's brand new show, The Rookie. That's going to be on ABC, where he is a rookie cop in his 40s. He decides to become a cop.
Hey, I might do that. Yeah.
Hey, why not? I guess if you keep yourself in decent enough shape and you can...
Yeah, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm like, 6'5", cut 220. Yeah.
220, 6'5". Yeah, you can definitely go into it. Can you imagine... Let me just say this. Can you imagine... if after this show comes out, you have all these guys that are trying to become police officers and rookies at the age of 40 years or older. Like, I can do it too.
Hey, if it's possible.
Right? Okay, so...
You can eat donuts and drive around a cool car.
Yeah, then that's when your 6'5", cut 220 turns into a 6'5", 350-pound overweight, but eating all those donuts. The Rookie. ABC, Nathan Fillion. He's, a lot of people like him from Castle. It'll probably grab the audience of people that were watching Castle to check out this show.
Yeah.
I think this show is good enough to last at least into the next season to see where they go with it.
Yeah, it'll keep going. I mean, his shows tend to. I mean, he got some fan base. So, I think nowadays you have a lot of people. They follow the actor around, so they like the actor. They're gonna follow the actor to his new project.
Yep. And then, of course, also on ABC, a brand new show that's coming out, and that is called The Conners. The new rebooted, revived Roseanne show. They got rid of Roseanne and they're just calling it The Conners to continue it because of the whole racist tweet that Roseanne Barr did where she said something about...
the racial tweet.
Yes, the racial tweet. What did she say?
Okay. Now, I know Roseanne's... she's not a racist to me. She's an idiot, but not a racist, because I didn't know that lady was black myself. I thought, it
was Valerie Jarrett, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
she called that lady a Planet of the Apes, something like that.
She said a mixture between something and Planet of the Apes. But anyway, so this new show, The Conners, Roseanne obviously made the bad choice of putting out a dumb tweet,
Very stupid.
And ABC is like, you know what? We're not going to deal with that, so we're just going to cancel the whole show. Because that was the most watched show when it came back on its revival, was Roseanne. It had on an average of almost 18 million viewers, I think, that were watching it a week. Like the highest rated or whatever.
Hey, that's good for nowadays.
Show. Yeah. And that's why you have shows coming, we'll talk about here in a moment, like Murphy Brown and all these other shows that are coming back because of Roseanne doing so well. Now, ABC, of course, a lot of the cast and crew feel bad because now they're jobless.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had all these people like, hey, I'll continue to write the show for these people, but I won't do anything with Roseanne. So they came up with a deal that...
they could have called it Darlene.
Darlene. Well, because John Goodman's still going to be in it or something like that. That's why they called it The Conners.
Okay.
So anyway, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. That's good news for Johnny Galecki, because since this is the final year of The Big Bang Theory, he could just become a regular on this show because his character did come back in Roseanne playing David.
That is true.
So now he has another job to move into.
That guy is probably one of the most successful,
television.
Yeah, but he's so under the radar if you think about it.
Yeah, because on Roseanne, it's not like you never thought about anything. Yeah. It wasn't until The Big Bang Theory that he's making over $1 million an episode on that.
Yeah, he's a successful guy.
Right. Now, I know he's not going to get that kind of money when he goes over to that show. It's an ensemble, and more of an ensemble cast where he might get a little bit more than, let's say, Darlene, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Totally.
His pedigree, you know what I mean? He might even take the pay cut just to have a job. Who knows?
Yeah, he doesn't really need money, so.
He's good to go there. Okay, so actually it'd be funny because what they can do is his character can cheat on Darlene with the girl from The Big Bang Theory.
There you go. Bring Penny over. Now, your prediction. Do you think the Conners will be as successful as the reboot of Roseanne was?
I think so. It depends on how they laid out, but I think a bunch of people are going to watch that very first episode to see the new incarnation of what they're going to do, at least to address how they got rid of Roseanne, if they killed her or if she just died of natural causes, whatever. And maybe they'll make some kind of joke like she was making some dumb tweet and died on the toilet or something like that. Just whatever it is. So you got that. And of course, like it says here, and I'm getting a lot of this material from the new fall TV preview from Entertainment Weekly on the scheduling of all these brand new shows that are coming in. So to quote here, it says, The Big Bang Theory's Johnny Galecki as Darlene's ex, it's important to us to have the recognition that this is part of the same universe of Roseanne. We are gonna be the same troublemaking, groundbreaking show that deals with working class families in a very authentic way. So, like they said, it's going to have the same spirit of Roseanne, but Roseanne just won't be there. I wonder if they'll have a picture of her in the background or something like that, like Mom or something like that. So, okay, now that we're done with the Connors, we have a new comedy that's called The Kids Are All Right, and this is an ABC new family sitcom that takes the action back to 1972 and centers on the brash, tightly knit Irish Catholic Cleary clan.
Whoa.
When eldest son Lawrence returns home from the seminary and announces he's quitting to go save the world, the whole family gets thrown for a loop. Everything seems to be going on track in their lives until this moment in time. I think I'm going to pass on that one.
I think a lot of people are going to pass on that one. There was nothing in that seemed remotely interesting.
Just off of that, no, not for me, no.
No.
Okay, so now we got another show. We'll go move on to the next show. Ryan Eagle of the Blacklist fame, and also he was on the new version of 90210 as a teacher, young teacher, whatever, and a new show called New Amsterdam. Now, Joe got a chance to see a sneak peek of what this show is all about. And Joe, tell him your take on after seeing what you saw.
Okay, I seriously thought it was like some kind of parody or some kind of joke skit or something. I was like, there's no way this is a real TV show. But it is. It's a real TV show. New Amsterdam is.
So what is it that made you feel like it was a joke?
It's the corniness. It's corny. It's everything. It's cliche to the extreme. Everything is cliche.
Okay, this is another one of those shows where it's like, this doctor is trying to change the game.
A fresh-faced doctor with clear, open eyes. He wants a new vision.
Yep, and then if you see in the trailer and he's like,
no.
Who are all my surgical, blah, blah, and you see them on their phones and stuff like they're important, he goes, you're all fired. And he's like, what are you doing?
You can't terminate me that easily. I have a contract, buddy.
Now, that's what I want to know. Is this, for him to do that, does this mean that the guy is a, what is it, the chief? Who's the one that can make the firing? Is it the chief? Is it the chief? Or is it the president? Is it the there's got to be somebody besides the president that could be like, you know what? You're all fired. Like, I almost want, there's a guy on YouTube. I don't know his name, and I can't remember the name of his channel, but there's a guy. He's an actual doctor. And on his YouTube channel, he watches all these doctor shows that people request him to watch to see the authenticity if this is how it actually happened. And excuse me, I actually want to see his reaction to this show, New Amsterdam, to see if he's like, okay, that would never happen in a thing.
Yeah.
There's things you have to go through. They're not just going to get up and go, okay, and just leave.
You can't even fire a McDonald's worker like that. So how could you fire a doctor to say
you're all fired?
You got to go through a process, write-ups or something, you know. You can't just fire.
I think for Joe, when he saw that part, he was like, this is ridiculous.
I was like, okay, where's the joke at? Where's the punchline? Okay.
So let's
it's not a joke. That was shocking.
Okay, I have a small insert of this show here. I'm going to read it because Joe's never doesn't know about this, so I'm going to read this for him. Okay, so this one is, after 4 years of high octane, at times preposterous spy games on the Blacklist, Ryan Eagle felt more than ready for projects a little more grounded in reality. I was looking for relevance and honesty. He couldn't have accomplished his goal better. He stars on New Amsterdam, a medical drama based on a memoir by Dr. Eric Mannheimer, the former medical director of Bellevue, America's oldest public hospital. Eagle's character, Max Goodwin, is a doctor fixing the flaws in the healthcare system. Okay? But while Max is certainly easier to root for than his latest film role, the actor says Max isn't perfect even if he's striving for it. I had a lot of conversations with Eric about what his struggles were. Oh, the guy's 34, so he's younger than us too.
Young man.
Anyway, so somebody that wants to change the healthcare game by firing, in the trailer, if you see it, he like fires these doctors and stuff like that, and it's like he's going to change the game. Been there, done that with a lot. There's a lot of shows where somebody's like, I'm going to change the game, and they do this wow factor for the trailer. This is on NBC, so do you see a show like this lasting beyond the first season, Joe?
I would think that people would not want to watch this, but given what's on the air right now, I mean, it's totally possible that so it could catch a little following.
All right, well, let's finish up.
People love doctor shows, they love lawyer shows, they love cop shows. It's a doctor show, so.
Oh, there you go. Well, let's do this. Let's start with one show we're going to talk about that is returning for its third season. We're only going to mention it because of the whole cast change, which is Sean William Scott of the Stifler fame of American Pie is replacing Clayton Crawford's Martin Riggs on Lethal Weapon after the whole bad behind-the-scenes stuff between Damon Wayans and him not getting along. Apparently, the crew and his temperament, his anger, that was reflecting and making it very uncomfortable on set. And Fox made the ultimate decision to get rid of him. Now, Sean William Scott is not being the new Riggs. His character, they wrote a totally new character for him because he didn't want to be the new Riggs and replace. He just felt like that would be kind of weird. So he's playing a different character. And I just want to mention that from the trailer, stuff like that, it just seems like he's just Riggs anyway, just a different name. That's all it is. And they even said on the show, they're trying to keep the spirit of what the show was, where you have a loose cannon dude and one guy that likes to follow the rules. And that's,
a loose cannon.
Yeah,
they can call whatever, really. I mean, Lethal Weapon, whatever,
what if
Riggs and Murtaugh.
What if they called it Loose Cannon?
It's just called a Loose Cannon Cop Show.
Or what is that one, the opposite show? The Odd Couple?
Odd Couple Cop.
It could be the Odd Cop Couple.
Or call it Maverick Renegade.
Maverick Renegade.
Top Gunner, which is coming back to.
Oh, look, I see a brand new show starring Taye Diggs on Wednesdays. Let's move on to this. This is going to be on the CW called All American. I'm guessing he's a coach of some sort.
Football coach, it looks like.
I'm going to go canceled because it's on the CW.
It could happen. I mean, the CW used to have a lot of these black shows on there, so
yeah, it seems like they just want to keep the teen type of thing. I mean, they're more of a superhero weird. You got Supernatural, superheroes, and now they're bringing back Charmed. So
now that's gonna be interesting. I don't know how that's gonna work.
So that's all I can say for that. You got, I think that's it. I think that's all we got right now. A lot of these other shows are just returning, like Riverdale. You got Modern Family, all these other shows. I guess if I mention on Wednesday, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, and Chicago Fire are all going to be on the same day. Man,
my Wednesdays are going to be booked.
Yeah, because I know you love those Chicago shows.
I love those shows.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to sound condescending here, but Chicago PD is actually pretty good. From what I've seen, episodes here and there, it's actually quite entertaining whenever I do see it. And I remember I never watched any of the shows, and when they marketed this big crossover event with Fire, PD, Med, and I was like, ooh, I should check it out because it might be actually kind of good. And I remember I watched the whole thing, and I was like, okay, I can see why people like this stuff. I mean, each one of these shows have been on the air for at least 4 seasons or more.
Yeah.
Because Fire came first, then they did PD, and I think that Med came next. And then they did a lawyer one that failed after 1 season because everybody was like, okay, we've had enough of this Chicago whatever universe. 3's enough.
Chicago universe.
Yeah. And then, of course, because you have the Grey's Anatomy universe also. You know what I mean? Or, I'm sorry, the Shondaland is what they call it. Shonda. See, me and Joe were trying to talk about super producers.
Yeah.
Like you have Dick Wolf with his shows or whatever like that, but I guess we forgot about Shonda Rhimes because she has the Grey's Anatomy, the Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, all.
She's coming up there. She's on Dick Wolf. Dick Wolf's been doing it for decades.
True.
Once they show some staying power, she got a little staying power, so she's coming up too.
Yeah. So now we got.
Man, I mean that's a job to have, a super producer. We gotta get down with that.
I'm gonna skip over to Thursdays real quick. For Wednesday, because there's a lot of shows are just returning, but let's go ahead and do Thursdays. Thursday, we have a new show called Legacies. Legacies is another spinoff of the Vampire Diaries. The originals ended after Vampire Diaries, the following season, and they said, you know what, let's keep it going. The only reason why I'm not on board with this show is because I would want it the Wayward Sisters, which was the spinoff of Supernatural. I'd rather have had that than this show, Legacies. I'm sure Legacies is going to do well because apparently everybody loves Vampire Diaries on there. But I think the would have been much better to just have that one. Now,
I watched that one. I watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend a few times.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and I think the other one, Jane the Virgin, they're on Fridays, and that's their final seasons. Big Bang Theory has their final seasons. Season 12, what a run for that show.
Who thought that?
Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about before I wrap this up, because we're going over 20 minutes here. The last one I want to mention is Murphy Brown, returning to television.
Murphy Brown.
Joe, did you watch Murphy Brown back in the day?
Oh, yeah, of course.
On the Entertainment Weekly on the front cover.
I didn't understand it because I was a kid, but
yeah,
I watched it.
Yeah, That was the thing. Oh, I watched it because my mom watched it.
Same here.
Almost like Designing Women and all this. That's another one that could come back.
But that Exotic Women, I don't know. That show, I just like it for some reason. I don't know what it was about it, but I don't know. I still like it to this very day.
I just remember with Designing Women, it was Sugar Bakers was the name of the company.
The Sugar Bakers.
The Sugar Bakers, and they were in Atlanta.
Yep.
And you had Delta Burke.
And they all have massive shoulder pads. Massive.
But that was
massive hair, massive shoulder pads.
Well, that was the 80s for you. And that's when the show came out. Maybe Golden Girls will come back.
They better not. You're gonna have riots in the streets if they ever try to reboot Golden Girls. Because you can't top that cast.
Yeah. Well, unless you put Betty White in there and 3 others.
They did that with Hot in Cleveland, which is a good show.
Okay, so Betty White could be the mom this time, and then you get
Hot in Cleveland's the same thing, basically, man.
Another version of the Golden Girls. It's almost like Hot in Cleveland is like all of the Golden Girls obviously have passed away. She's the only one left, and then she finds these other women that are around the same age as she was when she was with them. Yeah, that's what it was. Because what was it? Was she the mom of somebody's or grandma's? Valerie Bertinelli or something?
No, she owned a house. She wasn't no one's mom. She owned a house, and they all lived in the house
together.
Yeah, for some reason, it was a good show though.
That was, you know what? I bet you that show would have thrived more. It was more like a show that came out in the 80s. That would have been really good. Or the early 90s, something like that. Somewhere around there. Between the end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s. That show seems like it would have fit right in there.
Perfect.
Anyway, guys, that's it for the fall TV preview for us. We only covered there's so many shows that are coming out. So we just kind of chose some shows here and there. If there's any shows that we should have covered that you want us to cover on the next podcast, we'll try to do that. Because we also have shows that are premiering in October. That's why we're kind of doing this one right now. Because these other shows are going to be premiering all this week. So it's going to be a slew of brand new stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it. And hopefully it lasts for you. Hopefully you don't fall in love with another show that gets ultimately canceled. That has happened to me lots of times. Can we say Moonlight, anybody?
Moonlight. Just you say Moonlight.
Yeah. Hey,
Selfie for me. I like Selfie.
I know
Selfie
you like
was
Selfie.
A good show.
Selfie.
I like Selfie.
Hey, Moonlight with Mick St. John, the vampire show, it had potential. The guy that worked on this show worked on that show Angel, which was part of the Buffy universe, and it could have been something special.
Well, maybe the CW will bring back Moonlight.
Yeah, once Y50 goes away, because we got to have the same guy that plays Mick St. John. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm Roy the Movie Guy. Hopefully we'll have more podcasts coming soon. We're getting things kind of worked out, but this is our return in a big way. With me, as always, is
Joe B.
And you guys will hear us on another podcast. Stay chill, stay awesome as always, guys.